So the Premier League's kicking off today, and that's about the right time to do my predictions for the season. So we're going to do our Premier League predictions. I'll show you last season how I got on, because we haven't actually had a look at how I got on last season. I have already also done my championship predictions. We did them on stream, but I just need to edit it together, and it will also be up on this channel in the next couple of days. It was done during the first game, so it's pretty much at the start of the season. This one is, of course, going out on Friday as the Premier League season kicks off. So you have Premier League predictions, Championship predictions. If you want to do your own, you can chuck them in the comments below, or come join the Discord. There's a link to that in the comments below, and you keep a record of it. We look at everyone's at the end of the season. So come join the Discord and we'll look at everyone's predictions. So this was my predictions from last season. Manchester City top, I got that right. Arsenal second, I got that right. Manchester United third, so I probably overrated Manchester United, and I might make the same mistake this year. Liverpool fourth, of course, they would have been third if I didn't make that Manchester United mistake. Chelsea fifth, again, I got that one wrong. Newcastle down in sixth. They had a much worse season as well. They were down in, actually not too far, they were in seventh. Spurs in seventh, they did a bit better, up in fifth, mainly because Man United and Chelsea did much worse. Obviously, Man United and Chelsea fill in those spots down in sixth and seventh. So I actually got the top 8 right, because I got Villa number 8. Villa finished much higher in fourth. Probably not many people saw that coming, but I certainly rated them higher up. And then as we go down, obviously I did this for Everton before the points deduction. So 9th for Everton was pre-points deduction. And I think without the points deduction, they finished... How many points did they get deducted in the end? They probably finished about the same as where they finished. They finished 15th. So I think without the points deduction, they were about 14th, 13th. So they weren't that high up. But yeah, definitely I think Everton, yeah, maybe I was a bit unlucky with the points deduction there. 10th, West Ham, they finished 9th. Once you take Everton into account, that fits exactly. Brighton, I had 11th. That matches up exactly. I think Palace, I was wrong. Palace, I had 15th. They actually finished 10th. They finished much higher than perhaps I expected. You know, obviously they had Roy Hodgson most of the season. A bit unfortunate what happened with Roy, but their finishing 10th was pretty strong. They had a good end to the season. Fulham, 13th. I had them 13th. Then we have Brentford finished a little bit lower than I expected. I had them as 12th. They finished 16th. I don't know if I could have seen that one come in. Brentford, maybe they fell off a little bit. Obviously, the Ivan Toney ban maybe affected them a bit more than I accounted for. Now, the biggest one that I got wrong here is Wolverhampton down in 19th. They obviously sacked their manager on the day before the season, and I accounted that into the fact that I thought that would cause them to struggle. Nope, they actually did they didn't do great, but they finished 14th. So they were, I think quite a lot of teams were blessed by the fact the bottom three were particularly weak last year. I had Luton 20th. They finished 18th. So, you know, they did better than perhaps we expected. I thought Burnley would survive the drop. They didn't. Vincent Kompany wasn't able to do the job. Now he's off to Bayern, and they're back down in the championships. They finished 19th. Sheffield United were way worse than I expected, but I still had them being relegated. Forest 17th. They finished 17th, obviously even with the points deduction. Would they have finished higher? I think they finished 16th or 15th without the points deduction, you know, bearing in mind that Everton also had a points deduction. So overall, I think I did a pretty good job. I got 2 of the 3 relegated. I got the top 2 right. I got the top 8 right, even if not quite in the right order. Man United and Chelsea lower down, but everyone else was about right. And most of that mid-table is right as well. So I think I did all right. I don't think that, I mean, if there was some point scoring system out of this, I probably scored quite highly on the back of that. You know, lots of teams are in the actual position that they finished, and a few things that I couldn't really account for happened. So I'm going to do exactly the same this season. We're going to predict them, and we'll see what we get. So much like last season, I'm using the FOTMob predictor to move it up and down. This is obviously alphabetical at the start, so this is not how I'm going to place them. In fact, let's make it easy to start with. Man City finish first, Arsenal second. That's my top 2 sorted. I think Villa drop off because the Champions League is going to be a bit tough for them, but I think they'll still do well, so I'm going to put them about 8th. We're going to drop Brighton out of that. I mean, that's pushing Villa up. Let's get Manchester United. Let's get Liverpool. Now, I don't think Liverpool... I think Liverpool will finish 4th. I think Chelsea are going to have a good season. They started to gel a bit towards the end of last season. Obviously, Poch has gone. But I think Chelsea might do all right. I don't know how Liverpool are going to get on under Arne Slot. They haven't really made many signings. Have they made any signings? I don't think anyone wants to join them right now. And Manchester United, I think it's make or break now for Erik ten Hag. A bad start to the season. He's got to be gone. Is he going to finally get them together? They've made some interesting signings. Højlund maybe should be a little bit better. Zerki is a good sign-in. They've brought in Mazroy, De Ligt. Varane has gone. I am worried a bit about the midfield. I mean, Manchester United are going to be really interesting. Sancho is back. I think Man United's tough to judge. I'm going to go 5th for Man United. And then the other top teams, Spurs. I think Spurs will do well this year. I'm actually going to shift these around. We're going to drop Chelsea. I want to leave Liverpool 4th. I think they're still going to do all right. We're going to drop Chelsea to 5th. And then Newcastle is the other big team that I'm sort of missing here. Now, I think Eddie Howe, he hasn't spent a lot of money. Got a few injuries. Isaac is presently injured. A couple other players presently injured. I think Newcastle might just drop down to 8th. And I wonder whether Howe will keep his job if that is the case. I think Everton under Sean Dyche made some good strides, so I sort of expect them to be up there. I think Fulham look alright at the minute, so I'm going to move them up as well. And I think West Ham has made some really smart signings. So I'm going to put West Ham in 9th. Now, from the other teams, now sort of looking at who I think will go down. I think Ipswich will go down. They're the weakest of the teams that came up. I think Brentford might struggle because they sort of dropped off. And I'm between Wolves and Bournemouth. So the Gary O'Neill's former team or Gary O'Neill's current team. Now, I underrated Wolves a little bit last year. So I also want to put a bit high. I think Leicester could be okay, but they sort of need a striker. Vardy, I mean, they've still got Vardy. Daka's injured. If they pick someone up, maybe Leicester will do okay. But they haven't really, like, the relegation really hit them in terms of what they can recruit. They had some good youngsters, but, they've lost a few. Dewsbury Hall is, of course, gone now. So I'm sort of thinking, I think Leicester will avoid the drop. I'm wondering how long Forest can avoid the drop. I think Southampton might be in a bit of trouble. So they signed some good they signed Harwood Bellis finally from City. Gavin Bazunu out for a season, which a lot of Southampton fans don't seem to know. Am I part of me is like bias. I want Southampton to go down, but I think they are going to go down. But they have got some really good youngsters. I think Southampton are going to go down. I'm going to put them. I'm going to move Brentford up, and I think are we going to have the same ones go back down who came up? I think Fulham, strong into the season, they should be all right. Brighton have certainly dropped off towards the end of last season. I wonder how long we see before Brighton drop off. They made some smart young signings, but is that going to gel? I'm going to leave Brighton just above Brentford. I think a lot of Brentford rests on players like Wissa, Ivan Toney, how much they can keep them. Am I going to put Forest or Leicester to go back down? I think we're going to go Forest. I think Forest were lucky last year that they were worse teams, even with their points deduction. So I think we're going to go with that. So my Premier League prediction for 24-25, and I've sort of very much done this quickly, I know. Man City are going to win the league. Can you say any different? I think Alvarez is a big loss to them. But, Jeremy Doku's starting to look really good. Savio should be a good winger that they brought in. They still got Bernardo Silva, obviously Erling Haaland up top. If they lose Kevin De Bruyne, I think it's going to bring it a lot closer. I think Arsenal will be close up behind. Spurs have made some interesting signings. I want to see how they're still sort of living in the shadow of post-Harry Kane. And I want to see how that comes together. They really need players like Richarlison to kick on. They need players like Kulusevski to kick on. But I think defensively, they started to look better. I think Mickey van der Ven was a really good signing last year. I think defensively, they're starting to, solidify a little bit. Liverpool, Chelsea. Chelsea is really going to depend on how those players gel. Liverpool's going to depend on if they can actually get some good players in. I think up top they should be fine. Salah, Diaz, Gakpo, Nunez, like Jota. They've got loads of players to play up top. The midfield, I think they maybe just need one or two more options in the midfield. Harvey Elliott could be it. Although Harvey Elliott, maybe you'd rather use out wide as a sort of Salah replacement. And I think it'd be interesting to see what they do at right back with Trent, or whether they switch to Bradley. But other than that, I think, and how good a season Virgil van Dijk and Robertson have is going to be key to that. And whoever partners with them, whether it's Matip, whether it's Gomez, whoever it is. Man United, again, like same issue as like sort of these two. Actually, it's not the same issue because they have different issues. But Man United's really going to depend on, I think midfield, again, they're sort of lacking. I'm surprised they haven't gone and signed a big midfielder, unless I'm completely forgetting who they've signed this summer. I'm going to check. So I'm looking at the Man United signings. They've signed two centre-backs, Yoro and De Ligt, both great, but Yoro's out injured. Zerkey, centre-forward, young. I mean, all of these are young. Mazraoui is 26, he's young as well. And then they've signed, who else have they signed? I mean, that's it. So those are the signings. So yeah, I think they are maybe short a midfielder, particularly a defensive midfielder, when Casemiro is either too old or red-carded. I know they've got Scott McTominay perhaps they could use, or perhaps Amrabat or a couple other players. But I think, you know, I'm surprised they haven't gone out and got a midfielder. But you also a more attacking midfielder. You know, Bruno Fernandes is good if they want a attacking midfielder, but they might decide to use him out wide or further forward. It's interesting. I wonder how much Sancho, and a lot of this is going to rest maybe on if they keep Sancho and Rashford's form. Like, Rashford is a real form player. Rashford in form, one of the best players in the league. Rashford out of form, you've got a nobody player on your team. You're playing with 10 men. Villa, I think, are strong. They should do well. Newcastle, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. 3 to go down: Forest, Southampton, and Ipswich. So, if you disagree with that, let me know in the comments, or come post your predictions over in my Discord. So, with the Premier League kicking off this weekend, hopefully you enjoy it. At 7:30 on Sunday, if you're watching this before 7:30 on Sunday, I'm going to be selling a load of football shirts over on Whatnot. If you use my link in the description, you get between £10 and £200 to use during the show. That could get you a football shirt. I have some football shirts. I've got lots of Arsenal shirts. I've got Liverpool, Man United, Newcastle. Come use that credit during the show. There are some shirts that are less than a tenner, so it's a free football shirt basically. 7 p.m. Sunday. Come join me and we can discuss all the football fixtures and everything. But if you want to check out my other predictions, make sure you go check out this playlist here and you'll see what I predicted last year and once they're up there, my predictions from this year.